Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kira and today I'm bringing you another ultimate colouring vlog. The plan for the video is just to bring you along for the day and do a bunch of colouring things together. I have actually written a list of things I would like to accomplish today. First off, we're just gonna go do a little bit of window shopping. My mood's not the greatest today, so I'm hoping a little bit of retail therapy will lift my mood just a tad. I then need to do a bunch of pencil set organization things. And then I want to test out my new set of brutfuner macarons with you. I haven't swatched them yet, I haven't used them. And then I also want to try and come up with a few simple color combinations with them and my other pencil sets. A lot of you were curious to see if they would work well with Prismacolors, and I figured I might as well see if they work well with my Artex pencils as well. And then finally, I'm going to go through my entire coloring book collection and find every single Easter coloring page that I can find in those books. So yeah, that's everything that I would like to do today. We'll see how much we get ticked off the list. But for now, let's head to Big W, just do a little bit of window shopping and see if we can make myself feel a little bit better. So Big W is my go-to for finding any sort of book on a budget, and I was really surprised by some of the colouring books I found on this trip. First off, I have never seen a Melpomene book in any Australian store, so it was awesome to stumble upon one. But as per usual, the majority of the other adult colouring books I flipped through were pretty mediocre. Maybe if I wasn't so immersed in the colouring world, I'd look at some of these books and think they were decent, but I know what's out there and these books do not fall into the same caliber whatsoever. In fact, most of the time I find that the kids section is a lot better and there's a greater selection as well. For instance, I saw this dot colouring book, which I've never seen anything like before, and I thought the concept was really interesting. And if you've been following my channel for a while now, you'll know that I've been trying to find a colouring book so I can take on the kids colouring book challenge, and I finally found one on this little shopping expedition. So leave your guesses in the comments below as to which one of these books you think I ended up purchasing. You'll see which one I chose shortly, but it'd be fun to see if you can guess which one I went with. I also saw this cool Cats Everywhere colouring book during my last colouring vlog, and this time they had a bear version, which I think might be even cuter. But another book I was shocked to see was a Coco Wyo book. I had no idea you could physically get these in Australian stores. However, I'm personally not a fan of the simple and bold colouring style, and I've also heard some really upsetting things about the Coco Wyo company, so yeah, you won't ever see me colouring in one of their books. I then finished my little browsing session by peeping at the art supplies. I'm really into pastel supplies at the moment, and I'm thinking maybe I need to do a challenge where I only colour with Crayola products. So I've made a bit of a makeshift desk situation for the next part of this vlog because, I don't know, I thought it'd be fun to change things up a bit. But what an interesting shopping trip. I finally picked up a kids colouring book that I'm happy to do the kids colouring book challenge in. This is also my first ever Disney colouring book as well. I know there are a lot of people out there who love doing Disney colouring, so we'll see how I go. It's something that's never really appealed to me because, I don't know, it feels like I can't be too creative with it. It feels like I have to do the colours of the actual characters in their movies. But I think it'll be fun for this challenge. The book is a little bit damaged on the edges, but it was literally $4, so it's not that big of a deal. And the paper quality isn't too bad. Like, it's a bit smooth, but it's relatively thick. And as you can see from the title of the book, it is a magnet coloring book as well. So at the beginning here, it has just a bunch of magnets you can color in though. I don't know how you'd color these in because it's, you know, that shiny magnet material, but I'm assuming maybe like some sort of permanent marker situation. Currently flipping through the book, I have no clue which page I would choose. And obviously I can add my own backgrounds in, single-sided, so I can use alcohol markers. If I really wanted to test myself, I could do the very first page with, you know, multiple princesses on it. The line work is also in this like navy blue color, which is interesting. And the pages are also perforated as well, so you can just rip it out and do whatever with it, I suppose. Now we're going to talk pencil organization. I don't like to keep my pencils in their tins like we can see here with the Derwent Inktense. I do like to put them in pencil cases and sort of dedicate each pencil case to a different brand. So this here is my Artex pencil case. This here is my Prismacolor pencil case. And currently, this is my biggest pencil case that I've got. But this one's a little bit different. It currently has my brutfuners as well as my Artex watercolor pencils in here. But anyway, I want to do a big organization session right now because I've had, you know, a few new supplies come in and they need to be organized. In order to do that, I did pick up 2 new pencil cases from Amazon. I never buy the pencil cases based on the patterns. I always buy them based on price. So whatever was the cheapest at the time that I was doing some online shopping. This is a 72 pencil case, and my plan for this one is to put the Artex watercolor pencils in there, which means I will then have space to put my 72 brutfuner macarons in with my regular brutfuner pencils. I'm really struggling with English today, can you tell? And for this pencil case, I'm going to be putting my Derwent Inktense in there because it is a pain in the ass getting the Derwent Inktense out of these trays here. They move around, they fall out really easily, and I'm done with it. So they're going in here. But before I can put my brutfuner macarons into this pencil case here, I need to label them. I don't label all of my pencils, only my main standard pencil set. So my watercolor ones, I don't worry about labeling them. So what I'm going to do right now is label the brutfuner macarons from 1 to 72 using these Avery stickers, little white dot 8mm white stickers. And then I'm also going to put all the pencils in their respective new pencil cases. So this is where the vlog is going to get a little bit inception-y. We're going to have 3 things going on. I'm going to be doing all the pencil organizing that I just spoke about, and whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to be answering some personal Q&A questions that you guys have asked me. However, on the screen, I'm going to have the footage of me swatching out the brutfuner macarons and also testing out a few different color combinations with them, not only with the brutfuners themselves, but I also wanted to test how these macarons would work in conjunction with my Prismacolors and Artex pencils. So yes, that's what's going to be on the screen right now because I figured you wouldn't be that interested in watching me do all this organizing, and I also just wanted to answer the questions that you had for me, so let's get into it. So the first question I was asked is, how are the cats doing? If you weren't already aware, I have 2 cats. I have a little 1-year-old called Archie, and I have a 3-year-old called Willow. And yeah, they're doing pretty well. Thank you very much for asking. I am getting very nervous though, because my partner and I should be moving into our new house in about 2-ish weeks. And you know, cats are creatures of habit. And so I am slightly concerned about how they'll manage the move. But in the long run, they're going to have so much more room. They're going to have a lot more places to explore. For this current house here, we have a catio. For those who don't know what that is, it's basically a cat patio, an enclosed space where they can be outside but are protected from all the crazy wildlife. So we've created a very special place to put that catio in the new home, so at least that'll be something kind of familiar for them. But oh my goodness, I'm also just so stressed about the prospect of moving because I just don't know how it's going to happen. I feel like I hardly have enough time to do all the things I want to do at the moment. The next question I got was, what are your 2025 goals not related to coloring? I do have a lot of business and career goals that I've kind of touched upon throughout the channel this year, but in regards to personal goals, I haven't put anything super stringent in place. I did want to go into 2025 though really prioritizing my health. I've always had quite a lot of health issues, and I've kind of let a lot of them build up over time, just tried to ignore them, hoping they would go away, and they really haven't been. And I'm turning 28 this year, and I'm like, Kira, it's about time that you actually look after yourself, because if you want to be around for a long time, you got to make sure your body, this machine that you're living in, is in as tip-top shape as you possibly can manage. So something I've been really prioritizing so far this year is acupuncture, and oh my goodness, I love it so incredibly much. I do it for hormonal reasons, and I've definitely noticed a difference. It's not groundbreaking, life-changing, overnight, I'm fixed, but it's just those subtle little things that you can do for yourself that really just improve your well-being. Even if it wasn't doing anything, I think it's extremely beneficial for me to take an hour out of my fortnight. I try to do at least once a fortnight, where I just go into a completely different space, no distractions. I lie in the dark for an hour and I just breathe. And sometimes it's really hard to just lie there for that amount of time, but I always feel a lot more refreshed after the session. There were then a lot of questions about my wedding, because if you weren't aware, I feel like I speak about it all the time. I'm getting married very, very soon. Let's have a look at the, what's the exact number of days? At the time of recording this, it is 48 days away, which is insane, just over a month pretty much. I have never been a good sleeper. Even at the best of times, don't get much sleep. But you can imagine with everything that I've going on at the moment, sleep has definitely been, I wouldn't say it's the worst it's ever been, but it's definitely not been good. And you need sleep in order to function properly and handle stresses, but then the stresses don't allow you to sleep, and it's like this cycle of doom pretty much. But it's alright, I'm okay. Coloring always helps so much, and that's how I discovered coloring in the first place. It was a way to relieve my anxiety and also just find a little bit of fulfillment and purpose in my everyday life. And then another question that I got was, how did I meet my fiance? This is a bit of a complicated answer, because technically we knew of each other / had kind of met 6 years prior to actually getting together. Basically, our circles had crossed multiple times over the years, but he was always in a relationship, I was sometimes in a relationship, and we don't actually ever remember speaking, like actually having a conversation in that 6-year period. I'm sure we said something to each other at one point, but we don't actually remember interacting with one another. And so basically the first time we ever, encountered each other in each other's lives was in a musical. I don't think I've ever spoken about this on the channel, but I used to do musical theatre a lot as a kid, and I actually did a degree in musical theatre. I don't pursue it anymore because I decided that wasn't really the life that I wanted for myself. But I did a lot of musicals until maybe around 2022. And yeah, so basically we did a community theatre production together in 2015. It was High School Musical, the musical. Our paths then crossed again at a theme park. We both worked there, but yet again, never really interacted with one another. And then in 2021, we did Mamma Mia, the musical together. And since then, we have been inseparable, literally. It's really corny and cliche, but basically we pretty much knew straight away that we were each other's person and that we were going to spend the rest of our lives together. So it's been nearly 4 years now since we first got together, and very soon we'll be husband and wife, which is crazy because I still feel like I'm 12 years old. We kind of had a longish engagement. We got engaged in August of 2023. So that's kind of is that 18 months-ish? Around about, maybe a little bit longer. We probably could have gotten married a little bit sooner, but I feel like everything has worked out as it's supposed to. I do kind of wish we weren't moving at the same time as, the last month before the wedding, but that's how the timeline worked out. The plan was to be in the house at the end of last year, but that just didn't happen. Building always ends up taking double the amount of time that you expect. So unfortunately, the time didn't work out exactly as I was hoping, but I'm just trusting that, the universe has a greater plan and there was a reason we're moving at this time rather than the end of last year. But I'm very excited about moving into the new place because I'm gonna have my own dedicated area to coloring and art and just all those kind of creative things. If you'd like me to create a video taking you along that process of building that space and decorating it, let me know. I was really hoping to create a video about it, but if no one's interested, then I won't bother. I think I'm gonna leave all the questions there for now, but I really hope you guys are enjoying this vlog. You all seem to really enjoy the first one that I did on the channel last month, which is why we're doing it again. And yeah, I was really glad you guys enjoyed that because I had so much fun filming it. I'll have been uploading to this channel for a year in June, and I really would have thought by now that I would have a strong sense of what my content style is. I keep vacillating between just sticking to the more casual vloggy style videos like you're seeing here, or just sticking to the produced scripted content like my last few videos. But I don't know, I just really enjoy doing both, so I think I'm just gonna keep doing both for now, and maybe eventually I'll find a kind of happy medium between the two. I mean, as my channel grows and I'm eventually able to upgrade my filming equipment, my editing skills get better, my coloring skills get better, I'm sure my channel will just keep evolving, growing and changing, so there's probably no point in me stressing about having a particular content style. But if you have any preference, definitely let me know in the comments. I'd be really curious to know your input. Okay, I really thought I was going to be able to do all that pencil organization whilst answering those questions, but all I've done is put the Artex watercolor pencils in this case here, which is looking very chunky. I was not expecting that. But this here is so satisfying to look at. I love that so much. So I'll do the rest of the organizing off camera and show you the final result on screen right now. I hope it's nice and satisfying for you. And then I'm going to throw it to future Kira to talk about how the brutfuner macarons worked with my other pencil brands. Okay, so I ended up putting together 4 different color combos. This one here was just with the macarons. This one was with my standard brutfuners and the macarons. This one was with my Artex and the macarons, and then this one was obviously with my Prismacolors and the macarons. And for the most part, I feel like they performed really well considering the price point. If they were a higher priced pencil, I would be disappointed, but for the value, I think you can really make them work well in your coloring. I tried to do somewhat of a layering method, but I'm just honestly too lazy to do layering properly. And I also think some pigments blend easier than others. I think they worked considerably well with all the other 3 brands that I own. I did have to work a little bit harder to make them work with my Artex and Prismacolors, but I definitely think it's doable, and I'm gonna just test it out a little bit more on my coloring pages to see how it goes. I will say that I am obsessed with the color range though. These are all colors that I love and will definitely come in a lot of handy for highlights in my color combinations. There are some colors that I think, are very similar to others, but I feel like that's very common with cheaper pencil brands. Because the more colors you have in a set, it's obviously just going to be more marketable to buyers. I'm especially excited for these more muted purpley pink colors. Most of my sets don't have anything like that. As well as number 35 here, because I have a similar color in my standard brutfuner set that is absolutely tiny now, so I can finally replace it with this color here. We've made it to the final segment of this vlog. This segment is kind of like a 2-in-1 thing where I wanted to give you an update of all the titles that I have in my collection currently. I am planning on doing a full coloring book collection tour, going very in-depth, showing you all the completed pages in each. However, I think I'm gonna pre-film that for when I'm away on my honeymoon. But for now, I just wanted to show you all the titles and the books briefly, and also use that time to try and tab as many Easter themed pages in all of these books as possible. This is something I love to do before each holiday season. I did this for Christmas and I loved trying to find Christmas pages in all of these books, because I can bet without a doubt, even if you don't have a Christmas themed book or an Easter themed book, you can find something that you can colour for that holiday. Actually, let's place these books next to me. Oh, and then I can put them behind me once I flip through them. Oh, these are heavy. Okay, now we can start. So the pages I was personally keeping an eye out for in these colouring books were ones with bunnies, maybe some baby chicks, any type of egg, or even a page heavily themed around chocolate or wicker baskets. Wicker baskets in particular always remind me of Easter for some reason, so you'll see that I tabbed a lot of wicker basket pages, even if they don't explicitly fall within the Easter category. Oh my goodness, that took a lot longer than I anticipated. I think I was sitting there for at least an hour. I had to go get a snack halfway in between. But out of the 36 books in my collection, I ended up finding at least one somewhat Easter-related page in 14, which I think is pretty good. So first, let me go through all the titles where I didn't find an Easter page. How to Draw Inky Wonderlands by Johanna Basford, Magical Jungle by Johanna Basford, World Legends by Eerie, A Million Sea Creatures by Lulu Mayo, A Journey Through Fairy Tales by Sayuri Kobayashi, Polar Bear's Adventure Cruise by Yuki Shiratori, Tales from the Witch's Cottage by Hannah Carlzon, Small Victories by Johanna Basford, Rooms of Wonder by Johanna Basford, Worlds of Wonder by Johanna Basford, Enchanted Earth by Melpomene Chetspatagiotou, Dream Voyage, also by Melpomene, Forest and Nature by Rada Prince, another 3 Lulu Mayo books, A Million Mermaids, A Million Magical Creatures and A Million Little Monsters, Magical Woodland by Kate Pellerin, World of Flowers by Johanna Basford, Rita Berman's Africa and Asian book, and then Wildflower Folk by Christine Karen and Adorable Town by Lainey Dow. Which means now, oh, these are heavy, we can get into the 14 books with some somewhat Easter-themed pages. The book that had the most by far was Fairy Tales and Folklore by Emily Lederhall Oberg. I've tabbed 5 pages, but there were a few more that you could, say are Easter-themed, but a lot of them had rabbits with scarves on, and that just didn't feel as Eastery to me. So this is page number 1 with the little bunnies in the wicker basket. Page number 2 is right next to it with these Easter eggs. Well, they're probably not Easter eggs, but some sort of eggs within a little nest, and these hands are holding them. Page number 3 is definitely on my radar to colour for Easter. I think this bunny here with the little bow is absolutely adorable. We then have another page with some eggs inside of a nest. And then this final page is probably the least Eastery out of all of them, but if you coloured the eggs there correctly, I feel like it could have the Easter vibes. We then have one page in Vibrant Wilds by Sarah Renee Clark, and it's these adorable bunnies here. I have no idea how I would tackle the fur for this page. That would definitely be a challenge and a half. Okay, so this one might be a little bit of a stretch, but I feel like I kind of found one in Johanna's Christmas. There's this, I'm assuming it might be a hair page, and there's nothing explicitly Christmassy on this page besides the holly. So if you chose the right color palette, I feel like it could work. I got 2 pages in A Million Baby Animals by Lulu Mayo. The first are these chicks in this little egg carton. How freaking adorable is this? You could color the page next to it if you wanted to, but definitely the egg carton page feels like an Easter page to me. And then we have these pigs and chicks in a wicker basket. Like, come on. I know it's not explicitly Eastery, but it's given me Easter vibes. This book does have explicitly Easter pages in them though. This is Seasonal Wreaths of Plants and Friends by, Oh, have I written the author? Yes, Makiko Inotome. And it's this double page spread here. Oh, I feel like I might have to prioritize coloring this wreath as well next month. If I'm gonna color that page, it has to be at Easter time. I kind of found a page in Year of Witches by Usaku. I think what's doing it for me with this page is just that the fact that they've got some wicker baskets, they've got some eggs in that basket, and there's chickens as well. Yet again, not really Eastery, but you could make it work. This is My Tiny Forest by Nina Stajna, and this book has a lot of pages that you could, make work for the Easter period, but there is one explicitly Easter page. Look at this bunny and hedgehog coloring this massive Easter egg. Oh, it's gonna be so hard for me to choose which pages I color next month. This one is for all the people who don't like to color anything cutesy. We have Imagimorphia by Kirby Rosans. And this double page spread, you might want to color in the autumn period because of all the mushrooms, but look at all these hairs. If there's ever a time you're going to be coloring this many rabbit-like creatures, Easter might be a good time to do it. Next is A Million Kittens by Lulu Mayo. First up is this page here. Oh, I know it's not super duper Eastery, but look at these kittens in this wicker basket. So cute. And this one is kind of similar. I showed this in my haul video, and this is one of the pages that I'm really excited to color in this book, so maybe I will have to prioritize it in April. Spooky by Sarah Shefchik. This is another page sort of similar to Imagimorphia. I know this is a jackalope, which is kind of like a jackrabbit and an antelope combined. But if you're not into the cutesy Easter coloring, you could definitely color this guy or gal here. I'd really love to see someone tackle this in an Easter color palette. I think that would be really interesting. Maybe I just have to do it. Boule de Poire by Diane Dufour. There are quite a few bunnies in this book, but this one here feels the most Eastery to me. All of these pages, every time I see them, I just want to go, oh, because I just think they're so cute. Rita Berman's Europe book. This one, I feel like it's a massive stretch, but Easter, chocolate. So I did tab this chocolatier page. I'm probably really pushing for this one to be an Easter page, but yeah, I feel like you could make it work. The last two books are both Maria Troll books. And Maria does include a lot of bunnies in a lot of her pages, but I tried to only tab pages where the bunny was the main focus. So the first bunny is this one here on page 41. And then we also have page 49, which just feels a tinsy bit more Eastery to me, I think because of all the flowers. However, you could say the page next to it could be an Easter themed page as well. And then finally we have Shooting Star, and I have this page here with this bunny hidden between all the leaves and flowers. I probably wouldn't colour it for Easter, but it's an option there if you're feeling like it. Alright, I have a feeling this is going to be a very long video, so I'm gonna leave it there. If you made it to this part of the video, let me know by leaving maybe a bunny emoji down below or a chicken emoji, something Easter themed. Alright, until next time, happy colouring friends. Have a good day, have a good life, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!